welcome back to another episode of Brew and Banter. I'm your girl Ebbs, and we have Duel in the house.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's good? Happy
And
hump day.
thank you guys for tuning in with another banter with us. So to get started, what y'all got brewing in your cups?
Well, since I've been away all week, I need a chance to recover. So I'm having a mixture of elderberry lemon immune stress tea, and I'm having a mixture of rose hibiscus skin detox tea. So it's a little mix of both, just to get rejuvenated. And, since we're about to get into the brew and the banter, I figured I'd be prepared.
Well, I'm keeping it solo too. I'm drinking coffee. I figured I needed to be on my P's and Q's and I's and T's for this banter. Starbucks, K cups, those Keurig cups with the creamer I get from Trader Joe's. So it's really good, especially if you're not into dairy. It's just almond milk and coconut. It has a little sweetness to it, so I don't got to add sugar. It's pretty good. All right, so let's get into banter. Let's small talk. So this episode is going to be talking about how we are having a Brat Summer. Hey. Folks are coming in hot like fire, okay? Like chicken grease hot. So for those who don't know what Brat is, like myself, I just found out too. So yeah, I'm a nerd. It's being confident and just bold, putting yourself out there, just being out, being about, just being in the center of attention, focusing more on having fun, embracing your community, and being unapologetically embracing of individuality. It's being honest, blunt, a little volatile. And hey, that's what Brad is. And we have a lot of people this week that have been very, very, very Brad. Starting with Duel. And yes, you are living a Brat Summer, babes. Like,
what
were you last week? Spill the tea. Let us know what you can about your big projects.
Okay, so I know y'all probably noticing he had blonde hair last week. Why does he have dark hair this week? So this past week I have been shooting on location for a feature film called A Drag Heist, in which I am playing the lead role. So like I said, I'm still recovering from the first leg of shooting. We still have some more shoot dates coming up. So like I said, it's just been a whirlwind. I'm really excited for this project. It's kind of like a mixture of romance, drama, action, a little bit of comedy thrown in there. So it's kind of like if you took Queen and Slim, set it off, maybe a little bit of Tuong Fu, and you put it in a blender. That's the vibe that the film gets. And like I said, we're shooting now, but we should hear more about our release date next year. So as soon as I know, you all will know on Brew and Banter.
Yay. Good question. Yeah. Good question for you. How was the process for you? Getting into this role. Have you done a role like this before? Is this your first? And if so, what was the experience like?
Well, this is the first time I played a role like this. My character is pretty multifaceted. It's like I'm playing two characters at once, which is interesting. This is like really my first time doing like indie feature in which I'm the lead. I'm always like the supporting character, the best friend, the villain, the frenemy or whatever, And so I was given I knew production kind of reached out to me in regards to this project, which is thankfully because a lot of the actors, we don't get a chance we have to audition a lot. And, great, I'll pop back in, y'all. But, a lot of us have to, we audition. And luckily I've auditioned so many times with the same casting directors and producers that are on this project that when the opportunity presented itself and they had a script, I guess I was the first person that they thought of. So they reached out to me directly. I read the script, and it's very rare that you don't necessarily have to always read for a part. Usually you have to read for a part. But since I had read for them so many times before and had worked with them so many times before, it was just kind of like the perfect fit, like a shoe, And as soon as I read the script, I was like, yeah, this is exactly the type of project that I really could see myself, diving headfirst into, and that's what we've been doing ever since. Like, it's kind of like my process is like, as soon as I get the script and I like the script and I confirm that I'm able to do the script and sign the contracts and paperwork and set the dates, more like most actors, we just dive right into the script. Yeah. Like, you read the script like 3 times. You're really supposed to read the script three times. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. I read the script once. You read it for the story.
Yeah.
Second time you read it for the character, and the third time you read it for the relationships of your relationships with some of the other roles or characters in the project. So my process is like, I'm pretty method. I like to kind of get my hands dirty and kind of get into a character and kind of embody the character as much as I can, with throwing in a little bit of my own, flavor. But so far, it's been a really great process. The team is amazing. I'm really excited for, to wrap this project and to start promoting it. Like I said, it'll be out sometime next year. So as soon as I get word of everything that's going to happen, I will let you guys know, because, there will be a premiere, and I'm hoping that my Brew and Banter family will be able to be present. We do like red carpets.
Yes, we do. We do. That is amazing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it and just support you. This is
It's
your summer. Well, to have to turn it into a more of a bolder move this summer. Let's talk about one of your predictions, Duel.
Yeah. So
go back to that prediction.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's rewind a little bit. I think what episode was that? 2?
It was our very first episode.
First episode. So y'all all know that when we were talking about our,
Splitsville,
dating, digital dating, uncuffing season predictions, I had made a prediction about a certain couple that we know and love, Ben and Jen. It has come to my attention that my prediction had come true recently. Variety had put out an article recently, basically confirming that Ben and Jen are indeed on their way to Splitsville. Divorce papers have been processed. Well, they're in the process of being processed. They're basically doing a separation now, but it comes upon the eve of their 2nd year anniversary.
That's a bold move. That's a bold move. That's a bold move. Do you think it was intentional?
But we know who we're dealing with, though. J-Lo's a Leo.
Yeah. That's that boldness. That's that
real bold. And she gonna save face. J-Lo's gonna save face in all of this. It's always somebody else's fault, not hers.
Right.
You look at her pattern, it's always the other person. It ain't her.
Right. Allegedly.
In case her people are watching. I don't know.
It's never her. It's never her. It's
never her. But at this point,
I don't know. Yeah, so I was do you think, like, just because, like, I feel like they came in real hot this second time around.
Mm-hmm.
Real hot. And just putting all their stuff out there, for us to see. And I wonder sometimes, did putting their relationship and the love they have for each other on display, they didn't leave no room for those intimate private moments when it's almost as if they were on a tour of their relationship in the media, the press tour. And I also heard they have a movie coming out together, so I wonder how that's going to be, that they have to do the press tour for that.
They should have learned from Geely. Every time y'all do a movie together, it's a problem. Everybody.
Because that's when they broke up, after that movie. You are so
history is repeating itself. Y'all know better. Y'all know y'all can't work together. Because first of all, y'all are in a relationship together. Y'all work together. Y'all don't know how to balance that out. Some people are able to work together and be in a relationship. Their personalities clash too much.
Right.
And they didn't give each other a chance to really just like
be
and deal and basically make amends of what happened before.
Right.
Like, figure out what happened before that didn't work out.
Right.
Work through that before you go public, before you say, hey, we're ready to go public and we're really going to do this.
Right.
She likes to stay in the limelight. Mama had that. She canceled her tour back in May. She, because of drama. And
Yeah.
the thing is, I love J Lo, and this is for people out there. We love J Lo, but at some point, you're gonna have to take accountability for your actions in a relationship. What are you bringing to the relationship that's causing it not to
Work.
Right.
You feel like, like just thinking, okay, so I don't know if you saw the article with A-Rod, how he had like left this cryptic message um, about her, and this, it just so happens that this cryptic message happened on the day after the split. And he had said, let's see, what did it, I can't find, got all this stuff going on. It read, you either go one way or the other. You might as well be the one deciding the direction. And so pondering, like, was that a question, or was that like a
subliminal
about himself, as if like, you either go one or the other, you got to choose, or was it in reference, like, I was wondering if it's in reference to his relationship with her, or is it more like, I guess you made the decision to leave.
He might still be bitter. Because I think he's a little bitter. Because the thing is, he I'm sure he was waiting for this. He was waiting for the shoe to drop. And usually this was his opportunity to say something, and he took it. He pulled the trigger. He's still upset about how they ended things. Because both of them, as I said before, A-Rod and Jen, I think, aren't they both Leos? Are they both like fire signs in some way? I don't know.
That's a good question. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's still bitter. Because if he was a gentleman and they ended things amicably, he wouldn't have said nothing. So obviously something went down with him and J Lo for him to make this message cryptically around the same time when they announced that they're getting divorced. It's petty.
Right. And they're both Leos. So it's
petty. She's
sacred.
petty. He's petty. And he sees the opportunity. He sees the opportunity to say something.
And then we have petty number 3, Miss Mariah Carey.
Oh, Miss, I don't know her.
I don't know her.
I don't know her, honey. I don't
know her. So it hasn't been, it's rumored that she hasn't came out publicly and said anything. This is just what people are saying is going on behind the door, or behind closed doors, but there's no, fact to it. So right now we're just going to say this is an assumption that she's basically saying that this is what she get. Like, this is karma coming back to bite her, and then she goes and announces that she's going on tour. J-Lo be having problems with her tours. She does. Why poke her where, like she be trying.
Like, I wasn't Mariah, I love you, but you shouldn't have said nothing. We already get it. You don't care for her, and that's fine. You don't have to like everybody in the industry that's in your world. You don't have to. But right now is not the good time to like say anything, because baby, she could, your track record ain't that good either, sweetheart.
That's true, but I think in Mariah's defense, it's like, okay, so I break up with my husband now. He's making a record for you. There's some authorized tracks of my music that you're using on your album.
J-Lo's using some of Mariah's?
For I'm Real, I think there was a part that was unauthorized, and it was from one of her stuff, and that went through it, got her
a cup of tea for this.
Her husband, I think he had, I'm sure he had rights to her music. And I think he had something about, it was some unauthorized music that was used of Mariah's in the I'm Real. So,
but she's used to doing that. J-Lo does that a lot.
So what?
No, I was agreeing with you. J-Lo does that a lot.
Yeah.
J-Lo does like to sample other people's stuff without getting their authorization. Ask Ashanti. Like, ask her.
Oh, what happened with that? I didn't even...
Baby. J-Lo's taking some music from Miss Ashanti. Taking her voice, put, like when you have background vocals.
Yes.
So basically you recording song. And you still got somebody's background vocals on it, and they don't know. And you're putting it out like it's all you.
Yeah.
That's not right, because So, but J Lo has a tendency. This is why. I mean, we love her for what she does do. She's a talented woman. Don't get me. Don't get it twisted. Don't be coming from the Brew and Banter fam later. Like I said, we love J Lo, but we gotta call a spade a spade. Mama got flaws like everybody else,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
her personality and her pride gets in the way of her being honest and being truthful and owning up to her shit.
Right. Right.
And that's why her relationships don't necessarily work out the way that she hopes them to, and some of her business dealings don't work out the way that she wants them to do.
Question:
So
do you
that's
think
it with Ben and Jen. Go ahead.
like, because with Ben, he's so unbothered. Like Brett just like silently moves out the house, gets a new one,
Ben,
going to work about his life. He's in Japan. He's in Japan with Jennifer Garner, on a family vacation.
you
Just
think he'll get back?
unbothered,
You
spending his.
think he'll get back with Jen number one?
I was going to ask you, like, I mean, she's happy in her relationship, but I'm just like, and I get it. Like, I understand where Jen is coming from because they have kids together. And it's like, I'm only as strong as the weakest parent. So I got to make sure he is 100% for our kids at the end of the day. So I get that. I don't know if that's how she's thinking about it, but that's how I see it. Like, yeah, we're co-parenting. My kids have seen you on the down part spiral, when he was having his addiction with gambling.
Yes.
And it's like you want to protect your children, you also have to protect their father. And I think
Good.
that I commend her for that. But it's also kind of like, I don't know, do you think this her being there for him in his corner during this rough time may spark something between,
Rekindle the
because they were
romance.
together for a long time. And I think that if you would have put the addictions out of the situation, they probably may have still been together.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's Jen Garner. Hey Jen, if you watching, we love you. I'm a big fan since Alias. So anyway, Jen Garner is looking after herself and looking at her kids. That's self care and
Mm-hmm.
that's self preservation. Yes, they have a history. They have children. She's been with him when he was in very dark spaces. I get that, but I don't see her going a second round with him
Right,
because of what they've gone through and the fact that would make her look like, oh, now I'm the rebound
right,
again
right,
because now I'm being chose last, and
right.
that's not how it's gonna go. I think honestly, this split between him and J Lo should hopefully open his eyes so he can focus on his own self care and his own mental health and work through whatever issues that he has because no relationship is going to fill that void. I
Right.
felt like J Lo, they both use each other. First of all, we hadn't really heard that much about J Lo for a while. She was doing projects here and there, like sporadically. So this relationship really put her back in front of the limelight. He's not really a limelight person. He's very low key. He likes to just do his projects and he likes to be with his kids. That's totally fine. But J
Mhm.
Lo is somebody that needs to constantly be doing something. She constantly has to move. That's just her. She needs that center of attention. And he's just not that way. And
Mhm.
every time they've gotten together and fallen apart, it's because of the same thing. Now, first time, you live and you learn. Second time, it's on you.
It's on
That's
you.
a choice.
It's on
That's
you.
a choice.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they're able to heal, move on, go. I know it's going to be a really rough process because they were only married, what, they said almost 2 years?
Yeah, but it's so interesting. Like, I mean, not
It didn't
interesting,
feel like 2 years.
because it's like you start off with this person, you are engaged to this person, they break it off, and then they marry somebody else. They have a whole family. You guys finally find your ways back to each other. You
20 years.
finally get that marriage that you wanted, and it only lasts like a split second. And I get that it's like a humble pie, a hard pill to swallow and humble pie to eat. I
Mm,
think for Ben, it seems like, because again, he's so demure about it. Like he's
very
so
mindful.
like, I'm unbothered, and you don't know how I'm feeling. You hear little things that he's, just been a little bitter around his friends are saying it's unbearable to be around him, allegedly. But I think that for him, it's almost like, okay, we tried it, it didn't work, and I think the moving out of the house was the last straw. So no telling what was brewing in that year. I think, like I said, to me, it felt like a media tour when they were first getting together, just having always being wherever the camera was at, always being wherever the camera was at.
Absolutely. And that's not good for a relationship that's being repaired.
Prepared.
Like you want to have enough time away from the cameras to really focus on the relationship and do the work and grow. You know, like I would think they would be more demure and more mindful this time around, you know, because it's so delicate. Because like any false move, people are watching you.
Right.
And I'm not saying that we're doing it. It's our job to do it because this is what we do. But at the same time, they're still human, and I still have compassion for them. And I hope that they're able, you know, before the ink dries, figure something out. But if they don't, learn this time, learn from from this experience, and move forward.
Right.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. You know, so like, do you think too? Because you remember she did that documentary where she was talking about like pretty much putting their whole love, like, you know, life on display.
Which she didn't have to.
Dude, because there's just some things you just want to keep to yourself. Like you want to have those moments that, you know, only you and that person knows. Like it was so cute just to like jump to the what we're going to talk to next. But it reminded me of Kamala's husband, how he said that she saved their very first voicemail. And, you know, knowing how long they've been together, you know, been married, that's something that's sacred because it wasn't on display 10 years ago. It was something that came from the heart that they, you know, a moment they shared, and he allowed us to share in on that moment. I feel like I felt like with this relationship, the way, you know, Ben seems to me from just outside appearances is he's very reserved.
Yeah.
And they want those special moments. Because if you think of the marriage between him and Jennifer Garner, there wasn't too much out there. It was, you know, they were able to put their career aside and have that private life with their children. And I don't think for Jennifer, I don't know why that's like, I think she was trying to get to that towards the end, and it just didn't work because whatever happened before.
I think that Ben and A-Rod converse on the side. And if she doesn't know, I feel like they might be friends, but I think that they've had conversations about the relationship between Jennifer and each of them. I feel like that message was for him. And because Ben doesn't like to be in the limelight, he probably said, you know what, Jay, since you like to be all in the newspapers, you go ahead and file for it. It's my decision, but you file for it so you can look like the one that's taking charge. Have a good day. I'm going to Japan.
The gag. Do you think they're on a three-way call? Because you know it'd be A-Rod, Ben, and Mark Anthony. That would be a good three-way call.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that'd be a good anything.
Why are you gonna fly on the wall on that phone call?
Baby, that group chat, baby, would be lit.
I feel like he checked out a long time ago, and it's just her attempts to like even on his birthday, like the majority he spent with his kids and Jennifer, which makes sense, you know, she's the mother of his children. But you just think like on her birthday he wasn't around. Like I think he just like
I didn't notice he was not around.
But like it was like that, you know what, do you? I'm done. But however you want this to play out, because you don't want it to be another, you know, failed marriage, I'm done. Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting.
That's a good take, though.
That is a good take.
Kudos to you. I did not even think about that. There could have been conversations like it's like passing notes in class. I feel like it was like that. So I'm with you, Dre.
We were in sixth grade.
Yeah.
Don't go out with her.
I gotta tell you. No, but I it's sad, and I'm sure she's going through a lot, and you know, my heart does go for her because it's never easy to end a relationship, and I just hope that they come out better and stronger behind, you know, because of it. Um, I think Ben's gonna be all right though. Ben's gonna be all right.
J
Ben,
Lo's gonna come out with a whole nother album. She's this whole next tour is gonna be the breakup tour. She's about to become like our other fave, Tay Tay. She probably put out a good old breakup album soon.
we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I know he's coming with a breakout. Like, I mean, he's cut his hair off. He looks completely different. It's almost as if he felt like he was just, I don't know, a shell of himself, and now
Breakups
he's
are
like
good for you.
a different person. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. It is crazy.
We wish you the best, Ben and Jen.
We do. We do. So or the week to come and the week behind
Mm-hmm.
and the next. How many more days do we have until the election?
70
76?
days?
Yeah.
70 some
Oh,
days. Yeah.
70, yeah. 70 something.
But let's talk about this energy at the DNC convention. How many of you guys saw that this last week?
Never watched one before. I thought that it was going to be boring. It was not boring. So much energy, so much hype. I was just on the couch, just moving around. Couldn't stop moving.
And just the diversity in the crowd, like just the different people from all walks of the United States together, and just putting our country first, and that was good to see. And the shade that was being thrown, the
Ah,
unapologetic of it.
Palm trees. Palm trees. Little palm trees.
They was throwing palm trees.
Palm trees, baby.
We ain't throwing the shade. We throwing the whole palm. Like, tell me, it was needed. But what got me was, did you guys see the opening video, the Freedom, the Beyonce had did, and then they did the montage. Like, just how they ended that. Like, you have prosecutor and you got felon. Like, we really at this point where you can be on the ballot and actually have a conviction. And then what does that say for everybody else? Like, why is it okay for we know who they have a conviction and still get a job, but other people no. Like, we don't check that off. Like, there's no application that you got to submit before applying to be a president to be like, have you ever been convicted? Because if that's the case, then why as citizens are we being held to a different standard?
Exactly.
It's just insane. Like, I don't know. What was your guys' favorite part about this the convention?
Yes, the shade was being thrown, and rightfully so. I remember, I think one of my favorite moments, I think it was night one. Of course, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett.
Oh,
her speech really moved me. It was very tearful, very emotional. She was recalling her first experience meeting VP Harris at her residence, and how impactful it was, and how we got to see a difference. Like, she was telling me, like, there's basically a totally different side to Kamala than just being a politician. Kamala is actually a human. She's compassionate. She's motherly. And I remember she had asked Jasmine, what's wrong? And even in that statement, she just kind of like was able to, regardless of her status, was able to still focus on the people. That's why we say that she's for the people. And I remember, well, of course, Jasmine has her own way. Well, Miss Crockett has her own way of speaking. Of course, she's a public defender. She was a public defender, civil rights lawyer, criminal defense, all of that. And I remember she had made two statements that really stood out for me. She had said, in reference to VP Harris, she's lived the American dream while he's been America's nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And then she asked the question, will we let a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision for a better America or not? Of course, she said she's charming, but she's also very eloquent in her speech. I thought that having people like her speak, real people in their own vernacular, it allows us to connect more with the party than it just being everybody's speech being so, cookie cutter and very rehearsed. Everybody who got up there, even before her, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, Jim Clyburn, everybody else pretty much got up there and nothing was rehearsed. Everything was straight from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like the fact that, yes, there was some shade thrown at Trump, but there was some heart there. There was some compassion there. There was some realness there that I feel like we've not seen in previous DNCs or RNCs or any convention where in history. And I feel like I really felt like I just felt like I was there. Like Dre had said, like you feel like you were there and you feel connected to these people. They care about you. Feel like you're being seen and you're being cared for. So that's what I got from it.
Yeah. It was really something to see. I agree. I think I've watched parts of the one when Obama was they were doing the DNC for him. But yeah, it was just something about this crowd, and it's almost like we've been in darkness for so long that the moment we see light, it's just it fills us with so much hope, and maybe things will get better. I just, it again, we have 70 days until the casting of the vote. And my fear is that people say something in public but vote differently in private. And I don't think a lot of us understand the gravitas of how important this election is, how important it is that we have some sense of hope, that the dream isn't lost, because it has been lost to us for so long, especially our generation. Well, God knows if we'll ever be able to afford a home or, have children, because you have to think in those factors. Can I afford that?
Mm-hmm.
Just to have some glimpse of hope, even if it's just a little millimeter of it, it gives us a reason to want to fight for another day, for the, the to keep the fabrics of the United States intact. And even hearing, because I was watching both sides of the news cycles, just so I can, just see what the other side is saying, and to see that all they can do is poke fun at Kamala wanting some Doritos, or eating Doritos for her. And to me, I think that was the most realist, relatable thing that I could relate to. When I'm on a movie set and we have crafties, I'm going for the Doritos. And in between time, I'm hungry. I love the Cool Ranch and the nachos. Don't touch my Doritos. And so it's like, to know that, okay, look, this is a snack. I envision that as, this is probably her college snack. That in between classes, or high school, in between classes, when you haven't ate all day, you have to study. You're trying to jam it, to get to the next class, to get to your final or your midterm. And there's a vending machine, and they got my Doritos, so I'm gonna go in there, grab it, and run and eat my Doritos on the run. Like, it made it so real and relatable to people who have just had to grab a snack on the go.
Exactly.
And it was, I forgot who was that. We're saying, is she an emotional eater? No, she still has a job. She's still vice president.
The most powerful woman in America. Her job is very stressful. Mama needs her Doritos to run race.
And let her have her snack. But that made it.
Give her a damn endorsement. Do it.
And I was just like, wow, she eats on the run too. And she has a favorite snack that she's like, ain't nobody gonna touch my Doritos, to where I was like, I can relate to that. And I think that's what we need. We need someone who is just for us, who, regardless of what their personal beliefs are, my personal beliefs are not your personal beliefs. And if you're governing a people, you got to take everybody's beliefs into account. You've got to, what is it? You've got to adapt to every person to make sure their needs are met. You can't just be one track mind. And I just see that in her. And, but again, it's like that people say one thing and then they'll vote differently. And I don't think people realize that this is a fight for America to exist in the sense of the democracy that it was set to be. You have somebody who like she was saying, you have someone who wants to have no constitution, wants to get rid of it.
Exactly. And for instance, even to piggyback on what you're saying, he wants to get rid of all rights, including, I remember there was a section where real women real women just sharing their stories about, their reproductive rights being violated. And I remember that was one of the moments that really stuck out to myself and other people. And, even though I'm not a woman or myself, I have a mother, I have sisters, I have aunts, and I would hate for their reproductive rights to be taken away as well. And I remember there was a statement that was made by the couple that were on the platform. I think their name was Josh and Amanda. I don't know their last name, but somebody will find out that information for me. But I remember, for a man staying there with his wife during the DNC, he said the fight for reproductive rights isn't just a woman's fight. It's a fight for our families and our futures. Because we always associate reproductive rights having to do with just women. In order for us to keep these reproductive freedoms, we all have to be in the same mindset, men included, because we can't, it's not like a woman can automatically get pregnant herself and have a child. Right. Yes, a man is involved, but we need to stop separating the two. In order to keep our rights, we have to be unified. And I thought that was very, very great. That was very powerful. I know there was a young lady, I think her name is it Hadley Duval?
Hadley.
The young woman who was a victim of sexual abuse from her stepfather. Of course, she's a survivor. And the fact that she had made a statement, there's nothing beautiful about having your parents' child. And she was saying that in reference to 45 and what he said about, his views on, those who are choosing to abort their children because they have been victims of sexual abuse and rape. And I felt like people were really, really being seen. Like, I like the fact that even in DSC we were able to see, not just put a name out there, but we put a name to a face. I thought that was very powerful, so that we can see that, this affects us all. Each story was different, but it reflected us, people who are real people who are dealing with this on a daily basis, women who are being stripped of those rights every day. I thought that was very powerful, Yeah, it's like, I think, and even Governor Andy Beshear from Kentucky, he mentioned, one of his quotes was, their policies, them being the other side's policies, give rapists more rights than their victims. It's not inconvenient, it's just plain wrong. So they were hitting the topics. They were hitting the topics.
It was, and it's that, the story of this two, the husband and wife, Amanda and Josh. It's Zarowski. Yeah, that touched me, because as a husband, you have to see your wife go through a miscarriage, and you don't know if you're going to lose your wife, and just to see your wife or your spouse helpless, and there's nothing you can do to relieve the pain. There's nothing you can do to comfort the despair of losing a child. Like, it's just, and she could have lost her, she was going to miscarry, but it could have been with dignity. And I think that's what they're taking away from women, is the dignity to be in a facility that if something goes wrong and you miscarry, or if you have to, because, it's either a threat to your life or the babies, and you have to do a medical abortion, they're taking that from us. And they're taking that, they're pushing us away to go and have home miscarriages, and find other sources that may not be as safe for us. And it's just, I don't understand why this attack on women's reproductive organs. Like, what is the point what is this obsession with, I want to control your body? And how has this even been able to even pass is beyond me. But it starts there. You know, first it's the women, we can take their rights away. And then, you know, like in Florida right now, Chinese citizens can't own land there. It's like we're going backwards and backwards. And it's the minority. It's a little few that are praying for that to happen, for us to go backwards, where they can, you know, scream their bigoted, racist stuff at people. But the majority of us don't want that. But I feel like the majority don't think that that could happen. So you have some that are just going to sit out the vote because they're like, oh, we're not going to go. But we are, and there's steps that are making it. And the more we don't take heed to, like, you know, just with the presidency, but with Congress, because the other side and gets it. It's not really about the president. It's the Congress. Let's get our House of Representatives. Let's get the people that we need to be in the Senate. Let's get the people that we need to be on the judges, on the courts, because they're going to uphold our beliefs. And the majority of us are, you know, are going to suffer behind that. And that's what's disheartening. And I think that even though this has been like a really invigorating moment to see, the first woman of color that is, you know, secured the nomination, but I also was seeing how somber it also was, as in like, okay, you guys, this is great, but so much more we have to do.
Yeah. There's a lot more. There's so many issues, you know, reproductive rights being at the top of that list. You know, we still need to talk about workers' rights and voting and affordable housing and healthcare and all these topics that, you know, the other side can care less about. And it just kept being repeated throughout the entire DNC that 45 is only looking after himself. He can care less about the people, the concerns of the people, the rights of the people. He just thinks of us as losers and suckers.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has become this, and I quote Jamie Raskin saying, the career criminal.
Mm-hmm.
He's a career criminal. Mm-hmm. His whole life and basis is on conning people, and taking advantage of people, and belittling people, dehumanizing people. He's a villain. Mm-hmm. He is turned into a supervillain. And if we don't wake up and realize what really matters, we will have to go through another 4 years of this BS.
Yeah.
This villainy that he has spewed upon the. Each speaker that came up kept reiterating that. Now, I don't know who you listen to, which one you listen to, if you listen to them all. But I'm telling you, Project 2025 is pretty much, in the words of Jim Clyburn, Project 2025, y'all vote for that, it's pretty much taking us back to Jim Crow 2.0.
So do you guys know, I'm a little, like, I don't really, I've been trying to do some research on that. What is it exactly, and who, like, I know that's the thing that he's not trying to tie himself to, but then people are like, yeah, this is his agenda. Is it Congress people who are also on, you know, signing on board with this whole Project 25, or like, what does it thoroughly entail? Do you guys know?
Basically, from what I gather, it's kind of like, it says it's a presidential transition project. It's like a political initiative. I'm trying to kind of give a better, what is the agenda?
Have you heard about the Project 25, Dre? Is he there?
Pretty much right there.
I see you. I think he's waiting for his audio. Yeah. Can you hear? Dre. Let's see. Yeah. I think it's still coming up. We're having technical issues, but that's all right.
It's okay. But basically, the agenda is he's trying to take over the entire government.
Okay.
But he's basically trying to strip away freedoms. Basically, folks, this is what he's trying to get, a plan that he's trying to hatch in the first 180 days of office if he's elected. Basically, he's trying to take over the federal government, consolidate power, policy proposals, all of that. Like it's just basically a dictatorship situation.
Right. Have you heard about the project 25, Dre?
I don't get it.
You don't get it either?
It's all the things that he wants to do in the first 180 days. You know, he just basically, it's like it's a takeover, like a hostile takeover.
Not
like,
a hostile. Is that?
It's like that because it says takeover a lot. So I'm thinking, when I think of takeover, I'm thinking of hostile takeover, which he has done. He has done.
What is this? Oh my gosh.
He's trying to, it's like he wants to treat the government like taking over a business.
A hostile takeover. Like
a hostile takeover. He wants to be in control. He wants to break
disability compensation,
down bureaucracy. He wants to do a lot of things with this Project 20. You know, he wants to do a lot of crazy shit. It's extremist. It's very extremist.
Firing civil servants, including veterans.
He wants to do a lot of stuff.
Wow. That's insane. And I think
discrimination against the LGBTQIA Americans. Enable discrimination.
It enables.
Yes, they'll enable it. It will basically, they want all of us to go back into the closet with the sweaters, the shoes, and the chiffons. I'm not doing all that. Ain't no way.
That's the thing. Like, I just think that we can't sleep on it anymore. Like we, at the end of the day, I think the one thing that I really loved about the DNC that I was, I'm like, okay, I'm on board. I'm with it, is the love of our country. Our differences can, whatever they are, but at the end of the day, we have to love our country. We have to love what our founding fathers, they weren't perfect, but what they wanted for us. And that was to try this experiment. And Obama said it great. This is an American experiment, and the world is looking at us to see if we can pull this experiment off, to see if this thing called democracy can be perfectly executed. And we've done good so far. There's still, some things that need to be hashed out, but for us to go all the way back, it's like, what makes us any different from, example, Afghanistan? When, we pulled out, they went right back to Sharia law. This is our version of it, is let's strip the rights of everyone who we don't like and just, be in a dictatorship. And I don't see like how that's not on the minds of American people. Like, you want for you what you want for your neighbor, regardless of policy or not. Think about what will happen down the road. You're going to see your neighbor struggling. You're going to see your neighbor being kicked out. You're going to see your neighbor being jailed because of their sexual orientation. You're going to be seeing marriages annulled. All these things.
Higher taxes.
And it's almost like whatever spell 45 has on a selective few, I just think it's the fear of change for them.
He wants the world to burn.
Playing on that fear.
He wants the world to burn. If things don't go his way, he wants the world to burn. He wants to turn the United States of America into a dictatorship because, like they said in the DNC, he idolizes who? Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is in control of everything over there. He's like, if they fear him and respect him, then they'll fear and respect 45 if he is reelected. In his mind, he wants to control everyone. He wants everybody to be at his will, and he will do anything to make that happen. He's a career criminal, a career con man. He will find a way to pay off whoever it is, or do whatever he needs to do, or shake hands with whoever he needs to shake hands with in order to make that happen. Yeah. And if we don't wake up in the next 70 plus days, then that's what our fate is basically the world is going to burn. It's going to burn, or the beginning of the world burning. Now, I was hoping that would happen. Us three would probably be long gone before that were to happen.
But
But
I
if
don't
you
know. With
vote,
70 days.
it's coming
70
soon. Soon. So you better get your affairs in order.
days.
And I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, we only have one thing, which is voting. And if we drop the ball in November, that's it. You can't complain about whatever's going to happen after that. Because if you didn't have a say, didn't take the time to let your voice be heard, then there's nobody to blame but yourself.
Yeah.
Voting takes how long? Minutes of your time. But you could spend minutes of time social media, streaming television shows and movies, which I understand we all love, but at the same time, take the time to know what's going on, what the platforms are, what the issues are, know your candidates, know the people that are in office, know what roles they play in this decision making. Understand that we're all adults, especially being that this is a podcast mainly geared toward, millennials and Gen X's and people in that adulting era. We're past the age of voting for the first time. This is nothing new to us. And if this is the first time you are going to vote, make the vote count. Show up, show out. I don't know how else to say it, but at this point, it's like I can't talk to nobody who don't vote. Period. I'm not having no conversations. I grew up in a very political house. We talked about politics. We talked about, because I grew up in a working class family, and especially this election, the other side, they want to make taxes higher for us. People, working class families, middle class households, raising income tax. They want to raise the child tax credit. Well, I think it's going to also be eliminated. That's going to be eliminated according to sources. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's affecting all of us in some form or fashion. This election is going to affect all of us.
One way or the other. One way or the other. One way or the other.
My soapbox. Somebody else talk. I'm about to.
I was just going to say, for those of you out there who don't really feel like there is an option for you to vote for, don't just not vote. Pick the best of the worst, if that's what you think, because your vote does count. You have to go out there and make sure that you're heard. I have heard so many times in the past where people say, I'm not voting because I don't like either candidate and I'm not dealing with it. Okay, but there's something that you like about at least one of those candidates. So vote for that thing that you like. You don't have to vote for the person in entirety. Just vote for one of their policies, or vote for the person that you felt spoke the best, or the person that you feel related to you the most. Even if you don't like them completely, still vote. Do something. Michelle Obama, do something. She had the whole crowd. Had me hyped up. Do something.
I was like, yes, ma'am, I am going right now. Where I'm going. I'm going.
I tell you to do something, you do it. There's three women that we listen to: Michelle, Oprah, and Beyonce. Okay, trust me, your ass is voting this November.
Right, better do it. You better do it. And also too to piggyback on that, Dr. Dre. Find the candidate, like you said, that there's one thing about them that you like. Find the better, pick the worst of the best, better of the worst. But also look at which candidate is going to treat my neighbor the same as I would be treated. Which candidate will treat my biracial niece or daughter or cousin the same as they would treat me. And when you look at that, because there are people, or which one has the best interest of my elderly parent? Trying to take things away from my parent who work their butt off just to make sure that I have food on my table, to get a crappy Social Security check that they're trying to take more from, that we pay into, so we can pay it forward to our older generation. Think about that. And if you can say, all right, you remove yourself from it and be like, who's going to treat the people I love with dignity? Who's going to look out for the people I love? I might be in a position I can take care of myself, but can my mom, can my dad, can my grandmother, who is now having to think about, do I have to go back to work in my 70s because I can't afford the cost of living? Do I have to now eat cat food because I can't afford regular food? I heard a story of an elderly who said, I've had an elderly woman who was like, I haven't had I haven't had meat in 3 years.
Oh, baby.
I've been eating off of top ramen because I can't afford it, and they want to cut my Social Security. So what do we, and that's what I say, like, if it's not just for you, because sometimes we do get selfish and we're like, well, this is what I want. And that person's, even though they're the worst of the worst, but it's what I want. Think about, well, okay, the worst of the worst, how are they going to treat the people in my life that I love, versus the worst of the best of the worst? They're going to, at least, even though I might not agree with some of their, rate, like hiring taxes for the rich, which honestly, come on now, I should not be paying more than the person who makes billions of dollars. Tax me. I can't afford it. I can't afford to buy the stuff that's going to keep your business in business if you're taxing me. But it's like, who's the person who's going to take care of the rest of the people that I love?
Right. That's a fantastic point. I like that.
Absolutely.
Take it with you, everybody. Take it with you on this Wednesday.
Yes. And on that note, our food for thoughts. Things are heating up, and let's continue the momentum and try to just leave the world in a better place than what we got it.
In words of VP Harris, soon to hopefully be President-elect Harris, we ain't going back. We moving forward.
We move forward, on and upward, on and upward. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and getting into this banter with us this evening. And just want to say, you guys have any questions, you want to ask us anything, please follow us on our socials at Brew and Banter Podcast. Again, we are always looking for a special guest. So if you have a topic or question you want to talk about, just DM us. We might reach out to you and ask you to come on and banter with us.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
That's Brew and Banter Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever social media platform you are on, YouTube, Spotify, follow us, because we got some really great content and some updates coming your way, y'all.
Yay. All right, y'all.
Do something. Do something.
Do something. In the world, do something. Do something. Right. All right, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.